Platinum WoW released a video, and I want to take a look at it. It's time to take a look at Platinum WoW's video. And if you're new to the stream, you need to know the rules. You haven't watched it yet? That's because Postboy knows the rules. You guys are not allowed to watch any World of Warcraft themed video ever on your own, because you know we're gonna watch it here on this stream. Platinum WoW. I don't even know. Oh, wow. I actually remember this, I think. The official WoW magazine. Everyone forgot about. Long ago in the year 2009, a World of Warcraft magazine was announced. The pages within this magazine are lost to time, but now it is time to uncover some ancient history. Holy shit. Yeah, I think I heard about this. I never got it. I think they probably canceled it really quickly. I don't know, like, let's watch the fucking video, guys.
Well, hello, sir. I heard you have some ancient publications I could, Oh my goodness. What? Is there something wrong with my arms or something? You want to say something about it, or? No. I'm just looking for those old publications. Well, luckily for you, I know exactly what you're talking about. Are you talking about these?
What the fuck?
First announced back in the ancient year of 2009?
That was a long time ago. There's probably someone watching this stream right now who wasn't even alive in 2009. Think about it. Like, there's probably like an 11 or 10-year-old here watching. Probably true. It's probably true.
The world's most passionate gamers have all come together in Anaheim, California. The big day is here. Anticipation is high as we get set for this extraordinary television event. It's BlizzCon 2009, live on DirecTV.
Wow.
Let me teleport you back to the year 2009. World of Warcraft is at its peak subscriber count, and at that year's annual BlizzCon.
Dude, so I've been to 2 BlizzCons now. You don't have these type of nerds anymore. These type of nerds don't, like... There's a whole different demographic of WoW player these days. They just, like, it's just different. It's like... It's hard to explain. Like, they traded these nerds for... You know what it is. It's just like... I don't want to get into it, dude. It actually is too depressing. It's too depressing. I don't know. I'm not gonna get into it. I'm just getting bummed out. Honestly, I'm just getting bummed out. They traded these guys out, these passionate, die-hard fans, for people that would spend money on microtransactions. That's what it is. Simply put, that's what it is. Like these guys didn't have a lot of money to drop on shit, okay? But they fucking loved the game. They loved this fucking game. And they shit on them, and they alienated them, and they traded them out for people with bigger wallets.
Was crazy. World of Warcraft Cataclysm gets announced.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you World of Warcraft Cataclysm!
Ozzy Osbourne is also playing there live and kidnapped a small Asian child. And the best part of any BlizzCon? The dance contest.
The Asian kid never got recovered. No one knows what happened to him, by the way.
But I'm getting off track. Point is, World of Warcraft is really, really popular at this time. And at this BlizzCon, they announced World of Warcraft, the magazine. Yes, for only $39.05, you can get a magazine filled with WoW info every season. What a steal. I wonder what is in these, and the magazine was canceled only after 5 issues. But why?
Why?
What are in these ancient magazines from a bygone era? Is it really that bad? Well, there's only one way to find out.
Open them. Open them.
The first edition of the World of Warcraft magazine was timed around the 5-year anniversary of WoW, and what was cool about this issue and all of the ones following it is it's very community-focused. Truth is, we're wholly dedicated to finding new angles on Azeroth rather than simply telling you how to play. We're going to show you a wide variety of options on enjoying, exploring, and extending the game's fun beyond the borders of the screen.
Okay.
You know Mike Morheim as the co-founder of Blizzard, but what about Mike the musician? Or Mike the poker pro? This issue is full of strategies, lore, and advice from expert players, profiles of your fellow adventurers, as well as insight from the game's development team. But it might not all appear in the forms you'd expect. That's our goal, anyways. So this was released after Kata was announced, so a lot of the magazine is filled with info about the upcoming expansion and how just freaking
I remember when they announced Torn Paladins, dude. I was fucking pissed. Like this shit. I actually genuinely got mad that they did this. I had like a visceral fucking legitimate anger. I was so fucking mad that they did
amazing
this, man.
It's going to be. It talks about the
It
world
doesn't make any
revamp and all the
fucking
cool
sense.
new leveling, and even has an interview from J. Allen Brack himself. Will the game feel any less epic without the long quests that send you all around the world?
Yes.
If by epic you mean annoying.
J. Allen Brack was hating on fucking Classic WoW back in 2009, dude. He was hating. He been stating. He stayed hating, man. He hated that shit.
You think
Damn.
you do, but you don't.
One example that
Damn.
comes to mind are the quests to get your shaman totems. That's especially annoying. That is especially annoying. For people who have done that, it's like a rite of passage. I got my totems, and I did it the hard way. There is value in that, and that's like the people who beat the original Nax and Kel'Thuzad. Yeah, they did it the hard way back when it was hardcore and all that stuff, but I don't think that's the approach that a lot of players enjoy. The majority is turned off by that. So you can tell this was when WoW was heading toward its more casual approach, obviously. There are also a bunch of pages talking about features that were never even added to the game. Guild talent trees? Never added and turned into guild perks instead. Path of the Titans,
What a disaster,
feature
man,
that
guild
was supposed
perks.
to be added in Kata to progress your
I
character
remember this.
post-max level, which was supposed to add a...
I remember. It's so funny seeing this now because they have implemented this in like 3 different ways now in like the last couple expansions. It's like a secondary prayer. Bandages heal targets for additional 30%. Yeah, like they were going to do this in Kata and then they scrapped it, and then pretty much the same functionality got re-implemented like in conduits or artifact power or Azerite traits. It's like the same shit implemented. But yeah, they were going to add this. What else were they going to add in Kata? There was something else. It was, yeah, there was something. What was it? There was something else really big that they had hyped up for Kata that they didn't do. Glyphs? No, glyphs were a thing. Yeah, with inscription. Yeah, there was some... No. Glyphs were a thing. Like, they were a thing. Yeah.
your character post-max level, which was supposed to
I
add a
forget.
20% character power increase over the course of the expansion.
Huh.
Never added. Also in this section here, it talks about how there will be new cities for trolls and gnomes. I guess you can kind of count the troll section in Orgrimmar as a new city, but the gnomes still haven't taken back Gnomeregan to this day. All of the magazines are filled with
fucking bad,
community post-like stuff, like here where it's a bunch of players talking about all the companion pets they have. You might be wondering, how can you make multiple issues of a magazine talking about WoW be actually informational and have value? Well, to be honest, it's filled with a bunch of fluff stuff like this. This magazine was released before the last patch of Wrath of the Lich King, so Icecrown Citadel. So there's a section going over all the lore and all the new dungeons and the raid. Apparently, Icecrown Citadel wasn't released all at once. Instead, it was released in wings, where one wing...
Yeah, and so it was released in wings, remember that, and then also you only had so many wipes per boss. Like, if you wipe too many times, you couldn't keep progressing on the boss. Remember that shit? Holy fuck. That, like, ICC was a really good raid, other than them doing it that way. Holy fuck, that was annoying.
Would come out each week, and I didn't even know that was the case. But by far, my favorite portion of this issue is the booty call section. It's a bunch of opinion pieces from players on what system they use to distribute loot in their raids. So, you know, you got Sean over here who uses need and greed, and he says, need/greed fills my needs. Or you got Jason over here who uses DKP, and he's all like, DKP works for me. And then you got Kathy over here saying, in our guild, suicide is painless.
What the fuck? Kathy, what the fuck?
She uses a system called Suicide Kings, by the way. Since this was the 5-year anniversary edition, there is a section here recapping
That's
the
probably
game's history.
her.
It's all pretty basic stuff, but they also highlight important historic events like owls invade the internet. Oh, really? Yeah, really. Or President Bush officially discovers the internets. Tazon Day bathes YouTube.
This is kind of cool,
in
actually.
And can you hear me now? Integrated voice chat debuts. Barely functioning, by the way. Many players use.
Remember back when YouTube was actually YouTube and not like it's so like corporate and monetized these days. You know what I mean? I don't know, like, yeah, old internet, man. Internet prior to 2008 was so fucking fun, dude. It was like the wild west, man. It was so fucking badass. Like, yeah, genuinely, everything after 2008, like, it was just complete fucking thrash ass dog shit. But man, before that, fuck, dude, it was so sick.
Use it to repeat. Leave Brittany alone. And don't tase me, bro. Until you log off. So, as you can tell, this has dated very, very well.
Damn.
The rest of this issue is filled with lots of guides.
Wait, that's the year Obama got elected. Obama destroyed the internet. Obama destroyed the internet, and then Trump was like, oh man, we're gonna make the internet good again. We're gonna bring back good fucking memes, Pepe the Frog. So Trump tried to make the internet good again, and then the Democrats hate memes and they hate fun, and so they rigged the election in order to make the internet bad again, and that is probably what it is, at least.
For raids, battlegrounds, and add-ons.
Yeah.
Stuff that isn't super interesting, and also stuff that you can just find on, I don't know, the internet. For example, there is a guide for the Trial of the Grand Crusader, which is cool, but this raid came out August 4th of 2009, and the magazine came out in the winter of 2009. So the guide wasn't even useful for many players, probably because the raid was already out for a good couple of months. So you can kind of see some problems emerging on why this magazine failed. So let's just move to issue 2, which came out in the spring of 2010. This issue opens up with an interview from the quest designer team. A total of...
Do we recognize any? I mean, this is Alex Afrasiabi, right?
6 devs are interviewed, 3 of which don't work at Blizzard anymore.
Wait, maybe it's not.
Which is understandable, seeing as this came out over a decade ago. The interview talks about past quests they've made and the process of creating new ones for the most part. It says here that only 5% of the time they spend on developing quests is focused on story, and I'm sure this must have changed over the years, because if you look at more modern expansions like Shadowlands, the questing experience is incredibly narrative driven. It seems like back then the remaining 95% of development time involved standing around a map and playing with action figures in the break room. My favorite story they talk about is the issue they had with the quest, The Alchemist's Apprentice, which is a quest in Zoldrak.
This is the single worst quest ever made. This is the worst quest ever made in World of Warcraft. I fucking hate this quest. Terrible quest.
This quest involved collecting a bunch of ingredients. But the only problem is some of those ingredients were put on the top shelf, and smaller races like gnomes could not reach them.
Guess who's a gnome? Me. Guess who had a very hard time doing this fucking quest? Me.
Making the quest impossible to do. Let's see here, what else? Oh, an advertisement. You are going to see a lot of these as we delve deeper into the issues of this magazine, and this one is about plushies. Neat. And speaking of advertisements, here's one about figure prints. This was a service where you could get your own WoW character 3D printed so you could display it in a physical form.
Okay, this is fucking sick. This is fucking badass.
The 3D printing we know of now is created by layering materials like plastic and nylon. But this version of 3D printing was made with plaster powder, giving the statues a more grainy appearance, and they were also incredibly fragile. You can find lots of horror stories on the internet about people's figures showing up broken or not showing up at all. If you visit the Figure Prints Facebook page comment section, it's filled with frustrated customers that have been waiting over 2 years to get their figure shipped. Despite—
Wait, like they're still waiting? Hello, to celebrate my 25 months of waiting, I'd like to know why I still have no news of my model, even though I know it is finished. I saw it on a shelf on a photo you showed last November. And you told us last year that everyone was... Oh, yikes, dude. I mean, man, like, some people change their transmog every fucking 12 hours. Like, imagine waiting 2 years, and then you get it, and it's like, wow, I haven't used that transmog in fucking 16 months, man. What the fuck?
To get their figure shipped. Despite all this bad press, I got one of these figures back when they were first announced way back when. It's a model of my first ever max level character, and I like to keep it on my bookshelf to make sure that my virginity is protected and no women may ever enter my room.
Yeah, I mean, if a girl comes over and sees a male gnome from World of Warcraft in a glass jar on your bookcase or on your nightstand, you're not getting any pussy. Like, that is 100% fact. There's no way.
Over here we have an interview with a guy that got to level 80 as a pacifist, meaning he killed 0 players and mobs. He leveled up by Exploration XP, Profession quests where he swapped professions to repeat the quests a total of 13 times. He did quests that involve interacting with corpses that were slain by other players. He created a total of 248 Dark Moon Fair decks. He did fishing and battlegrounds where he...
But female gnome is different. Yeah, if you have a female gnome, you're getting your dick sucked, man. How do you think I met Kathy?
He only healed friendly players and threw bombs at enemy players to stun them. When questioned about doing battlegrounds, his defense was real-life pacifists like Desmond Doss were medics during wars. So apparently that means that he isn't breaking any rules. And when asked if fishing counts as killing, his defense was, no. Still, even if you think he broke the rules of this style of gameplay, it's still very commendable for the sheer amount of patience it requires. The rest of this issue is guides. Guides for engineering, battlegrounds, Iceground Citadel, killing enemy faction leaders, add-ons, guild leading, 3-manning old classic raids because, I don't know, why not? Other than that, this is pretty much it for this.
Wait, what'd that say about Molten Core? Hold up. Oh, Molten Core, World of Warcraft's initial big-time endgame dungeon is still a formidable task for those looking to reduce their party size from 40 to 3. You can run into Molten Core a long way past Caesar. Wow, poggers.
I don't know, why not? Other than that, this is pretty much it for this issue. Oh, wait, there is a community artist spotlight portion where there's an artist named Marie Cannabis. Okay, now we can go on to issue 3. Issue 3 was released in the autumn of 2010, so Kata still hadn't released, so it's still talking about how amazing the expansion will be. And at the end of this opening statement, they link their Twitter. And man, looking at a Twitter account from 2010 is an experience. Send us any questions you have about the magazine, WoW, video games, or anything. Let's call it an unofficial Comic-Con WoW Mag Twitter panel. 0 likes, 0 comments, or retweets. And unsurprisingly, this account has been inactive since July 24th of 2011.
Feels fucking bad, dude. God damn.
This issue opens up with an interview with Chris Metzen, who is basically the father of...
That's like when I announce I'm going live in Discord. You know, let me see. Wait, let me take a look. Oh, this is actually pretty good. Sometimes I'll announce I'm going live in Discord, and if I don't get to a 10 stack, it actually ruins my vibe going into the stream. So I can tell you this one, like, I even responded to my own status to try to help it get to 10. And it didn't. And this was a terrible stream. Like, after the stream, I didn't stream for fucking 5 days. That's how bad this was. I took 5 days off because we didn't get to 10. There's 10 right there. Well, now it's a good stream. Let me see. This was a good stream. This was a terrible stream. I only got 4. What the fuck? 5. There. So, listen. Going forward, everyone, we need to make sure that we get to a 10 stack. It is actually imperative to getting at least 10 fun emojis to my going live things, okay? It's actually
of WoW's universe, as well as all of the other Blizzard universes. A lot of the interview talks about how unique it is creating a narrative for an MMO, where it's a never-ending story, and you get a live reaction as the narrative unfolds. It's super interesting stuff that I think deserves its full video in the future. But Chris also talks about developing a Warcraft movie project, which was first announced back in 2006, where Sam Raimi would be the director. For Spider-Man,
spoilers, this movie was fucking dog shit.
He made changes and adjustments where he needed to fit all of this into...
Like, here's the thing with the WoW movie, right? It's fun to watch because you're like a WoW player and you look at it and you're like, oh, wow, like, oh, it's Goldshire. I've been there. Oh, Stormwind. I've been there too. Wow, Poggers. But, like, objectively, it's a fucking terrible movie.
Something that would read in this day and age,
yeah,
also be compelling in a 2-hour window. Now, this movie didn't come out, but it makes you wonder, what would a Warcraft movie created by the same director as the original Spider-Man films look like?
Pizza time.
Another cool interview is one with the itemization team, the people who are responsible for...
This is Ghostcrawler, right? I think.
Coming up with all the gear available in the game. Out of the 5 people interviewed in this, 2 of them still work at Blizzard. It goes over the basics of what the workflow is like for creating items. It's lots of Excel spreadsheets and mathematical planning to make sure everything is balanced correctly. Apparently, it also involves standing around in an empty theater and playing with toy weapons. But there's also the fun side of creating items. They talk about their favorite items, stuff like the steamy romance novel. The first romance novel was released back in The Burning Crusade, but these horn dogs at Blizzard, they just keep producing them to this day, and now there's a total of 15 steamy romance novels that can be pickpocketed off of NPCs within the world. They also talk about items like the Unstoppable Force and the Immovable Object, both signature items in classic WoW, as well as the Stoppable Force, a gray two-handed mace that is completely useless. But by far, the most interesting part of this interview is the items they wanted to put in the game, but it didn't really work out. We've had a lot of talks about class weapons over the years, and I'll say this. They're fun, and we'd love to do more, but they're also time-intensive, and in the current environment, they would be much harder to implement in a way that feels as it did back when the original Rock Dalar and Benediction
or Legion Artifacts, whatever the fuck
I spent
they're
a bit of time when we were working on Wrath of the Lich King trying to flesh out an artifact system.
They did it.
Including how it would impact raid progression or item progression in the game. And there are all these crazy ideas of how your weapon leveled up. Yeah, toying with ideas like weapons leveling up, which would have been fun up until the point you realize you're never replacing your weapon.
True.
So eventually, we decided that World of Warcraft didn't need that.
You're an Ashbringer, and you're the Ashbringer, and everyone is an Ashbringer.
Like the development team kind of did a 180 a couple years after this statement, as the Legion artifacts are exactly what they are describing way back when. And I'd say that the Legion artifacts are one of, if not the best part of that expansion.
I hated them. Wait, dude, I hated them. Like, I think anytime for an entire expansion you have a dead gear slot, it's really underwhelming and boring. Like, yeah, one of the best parts about WoW was getting a weapon upgrade, and you never got... It's like, oh, but you level up your artifact weapon or whatever the fuck. Okay, cool. Like, no one gives a fuck. You didn't get any weapon upgrades. Like, you never have that moment of like, holy fuck, the raid boss dropped a sick fucking weapon, right? It feels bad. Like, I don't know. That, like, it's the same reason why I disliked the Azerite necklace. We just talked about artifact weapons. I really dislike heirlooms, and they changed the heirlooms, of course, but the way the heirloom system used to work, and I still am not a fan of it, but I don't know, like, I think the best way to approach heirlooms, just put all the bonuses on a fucking tabard, and the higher level you get, or the more heirlooms you buy, or like the more you upgrade your heirloom tabard, like the more bonuses you get, or whatever the fuck, like you should do it that way. But having, like, when you're leveling up, having 10 dead slots for the entirety of leveling because you have heirlooms, it just feels super fucking lame. It just feels totally unrewarding, right?
Now, the rest of this issue is... it's bad. Guides. Lots of guides for battlegrounds and professions, some lore stuff, advertisements for action figures, and a real-life Doomhammer that you can buy for $400.
Wow.
I'll spare you the uninteresting
Cowley has
details
that.
of all this fluff, and we can move on to issue 4, the final magazine in this volume. This issue came out after Cataclysm finally released, so a good chunk of it is just talking about all the new zones and dungeons and stuff. A decade ago when this came out, this was probably very interesting, but now it's like, yep, that's Oldham alright. Let's see, what else? We got a section talking about pop culture.
Say it again, man. One of my biggest World of Warcraft regrets was not playing more Cataclysm. I think in hindsight, Cataclysm was probably okay. But I quit, like, you know, a couple months into Cata, and then I just started playing vanilla private servers and TBC private servers and stuff, like, predominantly. I wish I had seriously played Cata up until Dragon Soul.
You look hot. Also Kata owned.
Up until Dragon Soul, everything Dragon Soul was terrible. And dude, Dragon Soul drug on and on. Like, it was like half of Cata was Dragon Soul, you know? I wonder... They've got to know, like, their pacing is so weird. That's happened with Wrath of Lich King also, where it's like half of your expansion ends up being on the final patch. So it's like you rush through 2 or 3 raids, and then you sit on the final raid for a year. It's like, just go a little bit. If you need development time for the next expansion, and I get it, just pace yourselves through the earlier patches so you don't end up sitting on the final patch and the final raid for an entire year or more. I think, like, dude, ICC was... And Season 8 lasted, like, longer than a year, I think. I think Dragon Soul is also in a similar spot. I don't know.
Culture
no, but hey, what's up, though, man?
If that's your kind of thing.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Pikachu!
It's Clefairy!
Ah, okay, here we go. Something interesting. Here we have an interview with 5 creative minds behind the Blizzard cinematic team. Currently, 3 of them still work at Blizzard, but the others have moved on to AAA projects, which makes sense because Blizzard is well known for their incredibly well-made cinematics. In this interview, we get to learn about the workflow of creating these pieces of work and get some behind-the-scenes shots too. The first step in creating a cinematic is the game team brainstorming an idea with the cinematic team on what the cinematic is going to entail. Once an idea is thought up,
Yeah, I like, yeah, I was going to point this out also. Nice one.
then it goes to the concept artists that sketch things out and get a good idea for the feeling of the project. They establish things like look, colors, and composition.
I guarantee you, Blizzard in 2020, like, someone would walk in and be like, this is a sexist, toxic work environment, and I am going to contact HR, and I will have your job, sir. Can't have that shit,
Fail.
dude.
Once an idea is thought up, then it goes to the concept artists that sketch things out and get a good idea for the feeling of the project. They establish things like look, colors, and composition. Then it moves to the manufacturing portion, which takes the most time and is by far the most technical
damn.
portion. This involves creating set pieces, rigging models, and painstaking
nose.
frame-by-frame animation. Finally, it goes to the VFX team to create things like particle effects, lighting, and colors, and that is where you start to see the finished product. Sometimes these cinematics can have an iceberg-like effect where you kind of forget how many people are really working on these incredibly large-scale projects, where the finished product is only a short film's worth of beautiful footage that is months and months in the making. In this edition, there's also a little section with cooking recipes, which is an idea Blizzard would later develop into a full-fledged cookbook.
I'm surprised we haven't had more Shadowlands cinematics. I feel like in BFA, we had way more, like, actual full, like, you know what I mean by it. When I say cinematic, a lot of people think, like, in-game little cutscene cinematic. No, like actual like movie level cinematics that they use to, like, release expansions with. Yeah, BFA had like 3 or 4, right? And we pretty much haven't had fuck all for Shadowlands, actually.
And the rest of this issue is boring. It's really boring. We got stuff for toys, lore, an advertisement for Jinx,
Yeah,
fan
Affian,
art,
probably true, actually.
just
Booba!
okay. You get the idea. So these 4 issues complete volume 1 of this magazine. Now, Volume 2 did release, but only one issue was created before the entire magazine was cancelled. I don't have that one because the guy on eBay I bought this from only had these 4, so maybe I can talk about that in another video. So what happened was people paid $39.05 for these 4 magazines. Then they paid another $39.05 for one magazine, and then it was cancelled. So to refund people, Blizzard offered your money back, or you could get 6 in-game WoW pets, or you could pay more money and get 6 in-game WoW pets and a 2-year sub to PC Gamer, or you could pay even more money and get 6 in-game pets, 2 years to PC Gamer, and an exclusive Murloc plush that was only sold at So you can probably tell why this magazine failed. A lot of the content in these pages are not exclusive, and the stuff that is few and far between. Perhaps if they added something like exclusive codes for in-game stuff, it would have found a bit more popularity, but also in the early 2010s, physical media was starting to head out the door because of the constant development of the internet and technology with things like iPhones and Kindles. So these magazines, they remain as a time capsule of an important turning point in World of Warcraft's history, but also a turning point for the way people consume information in the modern era we live in today. So, any questions? Look, I'll be honest, I was more focused on your arms and I didn't really absorb any of that information. You know what? I am tired of this disrespect. I banish you from my store. Leave this place and never return, or you will taste my blade.
Oh my god. There's a video, boys. That is an excellent video. Platinum WoW delivers every single time.